All right. I told you I was invaded earlier today. Just trying to have a normal day at home. Just moved into a new place, and I'm still a lot of work to be done.
Sure.
Still a lot of work to be done, you know. We got weird things going on. Yeah, it always happens when you get a new place. Still finding things that need to be fixed and things like that.
I told you not to buy in that abandoned lot in Norwood Township.
Turns out that it was a bit of a fixer-upper, and I have to work through a few different crews of people to finally get to be fixed up. And if you are a contractor, call me. But the thing is that I'm standing there by my window, and I'm looking at and I'm looking out, and I see this thing on my screen. It's landed on my screen, and it's now trying to get inside my screen. And I look at it, and I'm like, that is the largest thing I have ever seen that I don't recognize. It was like the size of a small butterfly, but it looked like a mosquito. Am I wrong? You've seen the picture.
It was a freaky bug.
It's pretty big.
And I'd heard about this influx of these new mosquitoes coming into Chicago, and they're in North America now. Actually, they're rather large and a little scary. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh dear God, it's here, because I knew there was gonna be like this big hatch. So I started texting it to everybody I know, and they're all like, "Oh, well, it looks like a mosquito to me. I don't know whatever the hell it is." So we needed an expert. So what we did is we took a picture of it. It's up on our website, up at WLSAM.com, by the way, and you can look at it there on the Rowan Rubber blog. It's not a small item. And we reached out to the Peggy Noterbart Museum, Nature Museum here in Chicago. It's an excellent place, especially for the kids. And Doug Taron is the curator of biology and the vice president of conservation and research. I don't think we can get a better title to answer this question than Doug's. And Doug, what the hell is that thing?
Good afternoon. That is a crane fly.
Oh my God! A what?
What? A crane fly, and it does look like a huge mosquito on steroids. But you'll be very glad to know that the adults actually don't eat at all.
They don't eat it. How do they get to be that size then?
Well, they eat when they're larvae. They grow up under the ground, and they look a little bit like a caterpillar then, and they eat plant debris and roots and that sort of thing.
And then that's it, Doug? The crane flies, then the crane die? How long does the crane fly last?
The adult crane fly doesn't last very long, maybe a week, and they're all about reproducing, and so the females will.
Who is it when you only got a week, Doug?
Exactly. Wow. Exactly. And then the thing, it doesn't eat as an adult. It's like Bethany Frankel. So here's the thing I need to understand though. Does this thing bite?
No, it doesn't eat anything, including you as an adult.
Yeah, but I mean, like as a defense mechanism or stuff, is something that thing is totally harmless?
It is totally harmless to people. About the worst that you can say about them is that there's a species that comes out in the early fall that can damage lawns.
Oh, well, I don't have to worry about that. I live in the city. If it can affect, I don't know, cement and bullets, and I'd be very concerned about it.
Man.
All right, so what are the what is this new mosquito thing that we're all concerned about? That there was supposed to be a big hatch this weekend because it's about a 6-week hatch on mosquitoes. Is that right?
Yeah, we've had so much rain that there's a lot of mosquito activity this year, and I've noticed when I'm out in the forest preserves and that sort of thing that it's really unpleasant if you're not wearing insect repellent.
And why would you do that? So what is are there different breeds? I don't know, but what would be what's the word I'm looking for here of mosquitoes?
There are a bunch of different mosquito species. It's a big group. There are some things like the Asian tiger mosquito has a particularly nasty bite. That's a rather recent arrival to this part of the world, and they're big, and they get their name because their legs are stripy, and it gives them kind of a tiger appearance.
Mm.
I've been bitten by them a number of times. You really feel it when they bite you. It's verging on very slightly painful when they actually go in.
Oh God. Oh. And so this year, because of all the moisture, it's going to be particularly bad.
It's already being a noticeably good year for mosquitoes.
And then what about the percentage of mosquitoes who are carrying the West Nile virus, right? And that's only a certain species, right?
It is only certain species that carry the West Nile virus, and the good news is that most of the mosquitoes that we're experiencing now are mosquitoes that are associated with rivers and wetlands, which are not really the West Nile things. West Nile, the mosquitoes that transmit that tend to be more associated with hotter and drier weather.
Oh, so there'll be fewer of those this year, we think?
That is the hope at the moment. It's certainly been a cooler and wetter summer so far.
Because we have had it is a lower number. I think that so far the Cook County Health Department's counted 38, and that's down significantly from this time last year, the number of mosquitoes that have tested positive that they've caught.
Yeah, that doesn't really surprise me just because of what the weather has been like here.
Okay. All right. And so now, how come I've never seen one of these crane flies before?
Well, that I don't know because these are actually pretty common. You saw yours in a situation that a lot of people see it coming to a screen because the adults are attracted to lights at night. So they saw your window or your porch light and came over and landed on the screen.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. And they're indigenous to this area?
There's a whole bunch of species. There are over 1,600 species of crane flies in North America. Some of them are indigenous and some of them are introduced.
All right. I'd like to introduce you to this one and have you, and I'd like it taken into custody, and I'd like it questioned for what it saw or heard when I was completely freaking out because I don't want it to ever tell the story on social media. And it does appear to have enough digits and large enough to be able to get around my iPhone, and if it learned my codes, would send out a very nasty tweet about me. All right. What does it have? A predator?
Oh, all kinds of things prey on these birds, bats.
Bats, great. That'll be next. That's all I need. All right. Well, Doctor, thank you very much. Doug Taron, the Peggy Noterbart Nature Museum's Curator of Biology and Vice President of Conservation and Research. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. There he goes.
Why are there 1,600 different kinds of crane fly?
God.
What is God doing?
I don't know.
There must be more crane flies.
I've never seen anything like this ever, and I've grown to a ripe old age now, and I look for things. I'm hysterical.
Buy a nice pet bat.
Pet bat.
Get a pet bat for the house.
They just sit in the control room. I'll bet you old timey guy has seen it.
Oh no!
Yeah, I certainly have.
Oh man!
Back in my day, we used to catch them and fillet them for dinner.